Dear YouTube gods, it's been over 2 years since I last wrote to you. At that time, I pledged that I would offer you the utmost financial transparency and a bountiful harvest. To this point, over 3,500 faithful have joined our supreme and pious cause. But there is still more work to be done. On this day, my own birthday, I once again seek your assistance so that we may navigate the future with the utmost grace. With your guidance, we can reach true glory. I continue to pray for our mutual prosperity forever and always. Sincerely, Jack. Long live the YouTube gods on this glorious day that is my birthday. And it's a very special birthday because
I thought of something funnier than 24.
Let me hear it.
25.
today marks my first day as a 25-year-old, which leaves me with 5 more years to get to my $1 million target by the time I reach 30 years old. But I can't say I feel all that different from yesterday because the grind never stops. But anyways, it's pretty crazy to think that it's been over 2 years since I started this whole net worth series and started documenting my progress as I attempt to reach financial freedom. I've made some pretty significant progress to this point, even though there have been some rough spots along the way, but such is life, and it really has been a pretty cool thing to be able to document this whole process, to reflect every single month on the decisions I'm making and maybe decisions I made a while back and seeing how they've played out. And I think as we move forward in time, this series will get more and more rewarding, both for myself and ideally for anyone else who's interested in it, because more stuff will be going on. I'll have more things that I would have learned or would have been paying attention to that I could then learn from. And it's always pretty helpful when the market is in your favor in a given month. So without further ado, let's get into this month's net worth numbers. As a reminder, last month our net worth was $125,494.16, which was something like a $9,200 gain from the previous month. As always, let's start with the good stuff, the assets. Currently, we're sitting on about $4.2 million in cash. April Fools. The tail end of March saw my stock portfolio rebound in a pretty significant way to where my M1 Finance accounts are up to nearly $100,000. My taxable stock and securities accounts are up to over $120,000. And then my tax advantaged accounts, namely my IRAs, my 401k, and then my HSA, all benefited from the market surge that we saw at the end of March. But the thing is, a lot of that is paper wealth, and it could easily be wiped away in the next couple of weeks because, hey, I gained it all in a week. Why can't I lose it all in a week? But hey, I'll take it in as far as it makes these net worth updates look that much more powerful. But to name one stock in particular that performed really well at the end of March, that would be Alibaba, which fell all the way down to like 80 bucks a share. I bought some right around there, so it surged back up to something like 120. I forget where it is now exactly, but that obviously helped my net worth numbers at the end of the month when all of my existing Alibaba shares gained in price. And you can say a similar thing about many of my holdings, which I always include listed in the net worth tracker in the description below if you're interested in that. I have my whole taxable and actually my tax advantage stock portfolios in there so you can see my exact holdings. But with that said, that leaves me with $754,924.48 in assets. And now on to liabilities. I think the biggest change here was in my estimated income taxes. This is up from last month by a couple grand. I'm kind of spreading out what I think my tax bill is going to be. I've been doing some calculations to figure out what exactly it's going to be, and I haven't entered quite a few deductions yet, so it's going to be something probably around here, maybe a little bit more than these $4,500, but that'll be paid in the middle of this month in April. Looking forward to that. We're nearing the end of Emily Ann's tuition payments. She'll be finished this August, so I think we'll have our last payment sometime around June, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe the end of May will be the last payment for that, and then the student loan balance will stop growing, at least from new contributions. Maybe it'll grow with interest in the meantime, but she'll be graduating, she'll start working, and then we'll be dual income. Or I guess I should say dual full-time income, because currently my wife does work part-time while she's in school full-time. And currently all these student loans are on an interest freeze anyways until May, and who knows if that gets kicked out again anyways, because that's what the government loves to do, but not counting on that. But Right now, there's no interest on it, so it's not really any use paying it as long as we have other things to pay down or other things to invest in. But certainly over the next few years, once my wife graduates, we're going to be focusing a lot of our time and energy towards getting this paid down. But for now, inflation is eating away at the value of that debt slowly but surely. Not to say that we shouldn't still tread carefully. In the meantime, I'd rather continue paying down this HELOC, which is on variable rate interest. With the recent rate hikes, it's bumped up 0.25%, so it's up to 2.5% interest rather than 2.25% interest like it was before. But that's still well below the current inflation rate, and I could always pull this money back out because it is a revolving loan. But in total, that leaves us with $621,822.74 in liabilities, which means that our net worth has grown to $133,101.74, which is an increase of just over $7,600. Our debt ratio has decreased down to 82.37%, and our passive income remains at $1,100 per month. So overall, another strong month and another significant step towards reaching our financial goals. One thing I've been doing with my net worth tracker, again, that's linked below, is I've been tracking the trailing 12 months net worth change. And at least in net worth terms, if you would have invested in Jack Duffley when he turned 24 and have held all the way to me turning 25 today, you would have seen about an 86% gain. Now, past performance is not indicative of future results, but it's nice to see that I'm making significant strides, at least over the last year. I've made some real progress in this net worth journey. Of course, as my wealth grows, it's going to be harder and harder to grow it at the same rate as before because the sort of basis that I'm going off of is already much larger. But I suppose that's a good problem to have. We'll see how 25-year-old me does over this next year. That's going to sound like a broken record, but in the meantime, I'm looking for another property, being a little bit more serious about it than over the last few months, but still probably not as aggressively as I could be. There's just such little supply out there, and to get some really good deals, it's going to take a lot of effort. So I need to focus a little bit more on trying to find a good deal that I could invest in. I'm potentially looking at a place in Houston, as I mentioned in the last episode, doing like a sort of second home arrangement that could turn into maybe a house hack or something. Just looking at ideas right now. But whatever I end up doing, I'll be sure to document it here, so be sure to subscribe so you don't miss future updates. But if you like this video, definitely like it and check out those affiliate links in the description below. And above all, thank you for supporting me on this journey. But until next time, take care.